Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett'sTake. Let's get started with my interesting fact of the day. So, 6 new quarterbacks got to make their debuts in the preseason game this past weekend. 6. I feel like that's one of the most it's ever been. Especially since there's no preseason last year, that's the main reason why. But you had Love, obviously, and then you had Lance, Fields, Wilson, Lawrence, and then Jones. So it was cool to see all of them debut in the preseason. Um, so real quick, I'm sorry I haven't been posting in a while. I've been pretty busy. Plus, not a lot's been going on. But now that football's starting to come back around, I'll try to make at least more podcasts. We'll see. But what I want to talk about is how last year, if you're a follower of me, last year I said that I can describe basically each game in one sentence or phrase before I then go on to explain my thoughts on the game. So even though it's only the preseason, that's what I'm going to do here. And now you have to remember with preseason, you have starters out, so therefore you're facing different types of players. You're not going to get as good scheming as you would in the regular season, stuff like that. So with all this, you have to take everything with a player performance. Certainly, you have to take everything in context. For example, we thought Danny Dimes, he performed so well in the preseason. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's a good pick," and now we're questioning if he's a franchise guy or not. So that's why we just got there's some good things to take away, but then there's some things that's like, okay, we're gonna need to see more of that. So let's get started. So started off with the Washington football team versus the Patriots. So my sense for that is it really a quarterback competition? Throughout camp, Bill Belichick has said that Cam's a starter, and that's that. In this game, though, Mac Jones looked better than Cam Newton did. Cam went 4-7 for 49 yards, and Mac went 13 of 19 for 87 yards. So obviously, better completion percentage there. Now, it's a little bit of advantage for Mac Jones. He's going against the second stringers, third stringers, unlike Cam, who was going first and second. So again, that's where you have to take context there. And obviously, Mac Jones had more drives than Cam Newton did. So that's why you have to take things in context. But I mean, Mac Jones, played very well. I mean, personally, I feel like it's because of the play calling. I feel like, Indiana's called a good game for Mac Jones. So if I feel like if Mac Jones starts the second preseason game and Cam Newton plays the backup role and he outperforms Cam Newton, then we have to really consider, okay, yeah, this is a quarterback competition. But until that happens, I guess we still have to take Belichick's word, still assume that Cam's going to be the guy. Steelers versus Eagles. The Eagles soared. I know Eagles lost the game, but Hurts and Flacco, especially Flacco, I was surprised with, both produced very good drives. In that game, the Eagles were up like 16-7 at half. Like they were just doing so well both on offense and on defense. It was so shocking to me. Now, of course, I still think the Eagles are going to be one of the worst teams in the league and in last place in division. But maybe we have the wrong perception about the Eagles right now. Maybe while they'll lose a bunch of games, maybe they'll be more competitive than I originally thought. We'll see. It was a good showing for new head coach Nick Sirianni. Bills versus Lions. At least the starting offense didn't lay a turd. Quoting Dan Campbell, who said we don't have any turds on the team. Jared Goff, had that one drive that led to a field goal. It was a pretty good drive, 7-9, he did pretty well. Lions overall has some good moments. Now, but there are some things that are still going to be a problem with them throughout the season, it looks like. For example, I thought the O-line did a pretty good job pass blocking, which with Jared Goff, you have to be good at pass blocking if you want to succeed. But then also, I thought the O-line did not do a good job of run blocking. Because, for example, DeAndre Swift didn't play, but Jamal Williams did. He's a very good running back. He had 9 carries for 15 yards. That's not going to get it done in a regular season game. That's not going to get it done. You need to, be able to have a running game if you want Jared Goff to succeed and the offense to succeed in general. So the offensive line needs to work on that if they want to have any success. Titans versus Falcons. Falcons better hope they stay healthy. So hardly any starters were playing for both teams in this game. So what this game showed, though, is that in the 23-3 win for the Titans, the Falcons better stay healthy because if they don't, as we saw in this game, they have no depth, and their depth is concerning. Like, for example, the back quarterback position, AJ McCarron, and I'm going to cut it, and then Felipe Frakes, who's an undrafted free agent from Arkansas. It's like, like he's not. I mean, he's a good athlete and all that, but it's like, he's not going to cut as a quarterback. I just feel like, in general, that the backups weren't that good. But like I said, Kyle Pitts wasn't playing, really wasn't playing. Matt Ryan wasn't playing stuff. So I mean, the Falcons could stay healthy, and then they have a fighting chance to be relevant. But I mean, if not, then it's going to be another long season for the Falcons. Cowboys versus Cardinals. Still don't feel comfortable about the backup QB battle in Dallas. So Gilbert, Gary Gilbert and Cooper Rush have not been exactly terrible, but when I think of a good backup, I think of like Tyrod Taylor or Nick Foles. Dallas does not have that like they did last year in Andy Dalton. And while Dak should be go for the season, if there's an injury concern that pops up once again, then the Cowboys are in deep trouble. Dolphins versus Bears. Fields outshines Tua. So this shouldn't come as a surprise, and Tua was not horrible by any means. Even Fields, had a rough start, but it was clear who was the better quarterback on Saturday. Tua was 8 for 11, 90 yards, that's good, but then he had the one interception in the red zone that prevented him from scoring. And then Fields, he was 14-20, but he had 142 yards and a touchdown and a rushing touchdown, so 2 total touchdowns. So good. So if you're Miami, good luck with Tua. And for the Bears, I know they're still committing to Dalton to start the season, and that's fine. But you need throughout the season at some point, you need to think about starting Justin Fields. Broncos versus Vikings. There are two sides to a coin. What do I mean by this? On the one hand, the Broncos competition did not get cleared, but in a good way. Locke went 5-7 for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bridgewater went 7-8, 74 yards and a touchdown. So both played really well. Now the other side of that coin is that the Vikings missed a lot of stars on defense, and their backup defense sucks. Also, Viking. I love the Vikings quarterback pick of Kellen Mond, but he had a terrible outing on Saturday. So that's a little bit extreme if you're a Vikings fan, but kind of like the Falcons here. If you're a Vikings, like, you better stay healthy because you have no depth whatsoever. So we'll see so that's why I want to see both Locke and Bridgewater against a better defense than what they saw on Saturday against the Broncos, because that was pathetic. Browns versus Jaguars. Snooze fest. I was excited to see what Trevor Lawrence would do in his debut. And 6.7 more yards, not bad. But nothing really exciting happened for me. I was hoping for more exciting stuff. Like, he didn't even get points on the board. Then since, Mayo won't commit to starting QB for some reason, I got interested in seeing, okay, well then what is Minshew going to do against the second and third stringers? And he went 4-8, 47 yards, and 1 interception. So I think it's safe to say that Lawrence will start. And it's also safe to say that the Browns are deep like we thought. Saints versus Ravens. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 6. 6 turnovers is unacceptable for the Saints, preseason or not. It also shows that the Ravens, they should have a top-5 defense this year. They're going to be really good. But as for the Saints quarterback battle goes, so neither really did that much better than the other one. Hill had a better completion percentage, but didn't score due to Murray fumbling the ball and then an interception with a miscommunication between Hill and Montgomery, which was more Montgomery's fault because he should have kept on running when Hill thought he was going to kept on running, but instead he stopped. And then Winston went 8. And then he was 8 for 12 for 81 yards, and then that pick. So Winston, he went for 7-12, 96 yards, the touchdown, and then 1 pick. His pick was a 50-50 ball, but I mean, he took that risk, so that's what you gotta live with. But so Winston, as we know, Sean Payton said whoever started week 1 in preseason, he was going to flip him week 2. So we know Jameis Winston's going to be starting week 2 against the Jaguars on Monday Night Football, and then Taysom will get the backup role there. So against a bad Jaguars defense, whether it's a first string or a third string, it's not the best Jaguars defense. So against them, at least one of them, if not both, better look good next week, or else there's going to be some serious chatter going on in New Orleans. Giants versus Jets. Cruise control. Zach Wilson went 6-9 for 63 yards and was able to score a field goal in the opening drive. So like Lawrence, I mean, he didn't do anything flashy or anything like that. But he did his part, though, and executed, which was good because of all the flack that he's been getting throughout the week from the media. He at least kept the Jets on a straight and narrow course, so I like with that. Bengals versus Bucks. something to actually be concerned about. We talked about how the Bucks are just so deep as a team. Well, that depth at home to a Cincy team with not much depth lost. So maybe a concern going forward. We shall see. Texans versus Packers. So far, not bad. Jordan Love didn't stink up the joint in his debut. I mean, he went 12-7 for 120 yards, touchdown. Did have a fumble, though. I still want to see more from him in the preseason before making more opinions about him. Now, he has his MRI came back clear for the shoulder injury, but he still might be held out, so we'll kind of see if he even plays or not. Chiefs versus 49ers. You see why? Now, do you see why Shanahan and Jimmy G's a starter? So Jimmy G just had one drive, 3 for 3, 26 yards. For Lance, he played for the rest of the first half. It was 5 of 14 for 120 yards, a touchdown. Besides that, like 80-yard deep ball, touchdown pass. He looked like he hadn't played in over a year. Oh, wait, he hasn't played in a year. So for people who are like, oh, no, Lance just start week 1. It's like, no. I feel like I'm not saying quarterback shouldn't start with, like, Lawrence should start week 1. Wilson could start week 1. I mean, even, like, Mac Jones could start week 1 for, but in this situation, it's like, for this one, I prefer the Mahomes situation. Just let him. I mean, you could use him like in, running goal line package situations, especially like as a starter. Just save him for next year. Because with the Super Bowl caliber roster that you have, it's like he's gonna need a little more time to develop that consistency. Seahawks versus Raiders. Fun in Vegas. In Vegas, Raiders got an easy win against Seattle backups and third stringers. So while it's nice to have those fans back at the stadium, if you're a fan of the Raiders, I hope you had your fun last night while it lasted, because during the regular season, I don't think you're going to be that good, so you won't be having much fun. Also, just a side point, Seattle should invest in the backup quarterback, in my opinion. Geno Smith ain't going to get it done. Chargers versus Rams. The battle for LA. So while this is a meaningless battle for LA since it was a preseason game and a lot of starters were out for both teams, it was still fun to see, how good this game can be. Imagine if both teams had all their starters. So how like we have fun rivalry right now between the Clippers and Lakers in basketball. It's like now we can have a fun rivalry between Chargers and Rams, hopefully. Panthers versus Colts. Job still open. Assuming Carson Wentz misses time to start the season, I think he will. Both Jacob Eason and Sam Elliott played good, so neither one was really exactly able to make a nice statement yesterday. Next game, we'll kind of get a little more tell of who's going to be, taking that backup / starter role for the Colts. So we'll see about that. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.